All right, since 93 Sports back with another one. Wanted to go ahead and put my 2 cents in on the aftermath of Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury. There's definitely been a bunch of controversy, but I think the drama's definitely good for the rematch. Um, I believe the numbers for the pay-per-view came out today. I don't know if they're done calculating everything. From what I'm seeing, I've heard 320,000. I've heard 350,000, and in my opinion, those are really good numbers. I believe their break even point was 200,000, and I mean, if you put this into comparison, look at Canelo. Canelo's supposed to be this huge pay-per-view star that brings in crazy numbers, and he's way more known than Deontay Wilder. And when he goes against a guy like Liam Smith, who's unknown, he pulls in about 300,000. Okay, when he went against Laura, I believe that fight did 300,000 or 400,000 pay-per-views, and Laura was pretty known, and he was a threat to Canelo. And then you look at Canelo, what he did against Amir Khan. I believe he did like 500,000-600,000. So this is showing you that Deontay Wilder is known. I don't believe the hype about Tyson Fury sold all those pay-per-views. We in America, Deontay Wilder's got real popular. He was trending with the whole situation with Radio Raheem. And I mean, he's hitting all the outlets for his fan base. The Breakfast Club. I would like to see him, get a chance to get on Vlad TV. And I think he's definitely a budding star. But I want to get into the fight, man. A lot of people are, even though I had my thoughts on the fight, I haven't watched the fight in entirety. I want to wait to watch the fight in entirety. To get my thought. My initial thoughts was, from what I was seeing, Wilder was getting outboxed, but you gotta, factor in the two knockdowns, and a lot of those rounds could have went either way, similar to a lot of controversial fights in the past. War Kovalev one comes to mind, and now I want to get into the fight. A lot of people are not giving Wilder credit. A lot of people are just saying David versus Goliath. If we're gonna look at it like that, then Wilder is David, because the guy was 212 pounds in the weigh-in, and he was 209 pounds the night of the fight. And Fury weighed in the night of the fight, he was I believe 260 pounds. So who's the David in this situation? For him to be hurting these bigger guys, I mean, he's basically a cruiserweight. I don't understand how he's able to keep such low weight, on a 6'7" frame. And another thing I wanted to get into was, when you talk about elite punching power, a lot of guys are can knock guys out, at the lower levels and even the upper level. But once you start fighting elite boxers, a lot of these guys that are power punchers, they're not just knocking guys out, or not even knocking them down. You know what I'm saying? So you look at Triple G, when he started facing those elite guys, he was not only not knocking guys out, he wasn't even getting knockdowns. We seen Deontay Wilder increase his competition, and he's at that elite level. Tyson Fury is an elite level boxer, and he was able to knock this guy down like he's knocking everybody else down. So nobody's looking at that aspect, and a lot of people are not factoring in the aspect that Deontay Wilder started boxing when he was like 20 years old. For him to even make it to the elite level and become a champion, that's an accomplishment in itself. And nobody's looking at, we talking about Tyson Fury, a guy who's from a fighting family, who's probably been boxing since he was able to walk. You know, we're talking about him facing guys like Luis Ortiz who have Olympic pedigree, who comes from that Cuban boxing school when they're learning how to box, you know, throughout you know, school. You know, they're I believe in the Cuban boxing school, this is like put into their curriculum. Like if you're in that program, it starts from a young age. So people's not, you know, taking this into consideration, you know. And I want to talk about, you know, the boxers that's coming out and criticizing them. You know, we're talking about Floyd Mayweather, who's had his share of controversial fights. We're talking about Ward Kovalev, a Ward who had his, you know, controversial fight with Kovalev. You know, and these are two guys who, you know, they haven't had the most exciting fights. You know, when we're talking about at the elite level, when we're getting pay-per-views throughout the years, it's a lot of times where we haven't got, you know, a bunch of drama in a fight. This is a fighter who gives us drama in every fight with his vulnerabilities. You know, so people's not taking that into consideration. You know, and then we're hearing that Ward wants to come back. So is he looking for attention? You know, what is it? And he's not, you know, calling out Deontay Wilder. He wants to fight Anthony Joshua. Why is that? If you see him as a guy with no heart who don't want to avenge a loss or a draw or a controversial decision, you know, why don't you fight the guy? You know, that's a good question. You know, then we got Anthony Joshua, who's now tweeting, talking about, you know, he I guess he heard about Deontay Wilder saying he wants to face him now, and then he's like, what took you so long? Dude, we know you wasn't we know you wasn't interested in the fight because you didn't even want to show up to the fight. And he want to say he got all these obligations. If you wanted to show up to fight the man, then you would have showed up to the fight. You didn't want to show up you was quiet in the lead up to the fight. Now it's over and you see all this controversy. Now you want to talk. So we're not even going to give that any kind of attention. But another thing is my last point. You know, I was really thinking about this yesterday. Okay, Billy Joe Saunders and Tyson Fury are cousins, right? And we've seen them train together. We've seen all of that, right? So I saw that Billy Joe Saunders got popped for a diuretic, right? We seen how he's you know, he's fat in the off season, and then he just loses all this weight miraculously. Okay, and we seen that Tyson Fury lost a whole bunch of weight miraculously. So was Tyson Fury taking the same stuff that Billy Joe Saunders was taking to get the weight off? I know they was tested, but what was he doing in, you know, in the lead up to his comeback? What was Fury clean? I know everybody overlooked the fact about the steroid allegations. So I think that's something else that people need to bring to light. You know, how did he lose all the weight that he lost so quickly? You know, let's talk about that. You know, but I just want to put all this stuff out here. You know, I was really irritated on, you know, a lot of the stuff I'm hearing from these people that's coming out of nowhere. And yeah, I thought that it was a very close fight from what I seen. You know, I could see some people thinking that maybe it went Tyson Fury's way, but it wasn't a robbery either way. A rematch definitely needs to happen, but that's good for boxing. That's a huge pay-per-view. But I don't see, you know, the reason why Wilder's getting slack. You know, I understand him getting slack from the guys from the UK, but his own people, you know, I just don't understand. But man, we need answers about how Fury really lost his weight. You know, that's the main thing that I was thinking about. You know, he's friends. His cousin is Billy Joe Saunders. They train together. Maybe they lose weight the same way. Think about it. Since 93 Sports, and I'm out.